When a falcon attacked a chicken, it encountered an unpleasant surprise. The ordinary domestic bird not only resisted, but literally trampled the aggressor into the mud. Now we'll show you other amazing and even comical instances in which birds surprised with unexpected strength and bravery, eliciting genuine shock from predators. Though small, the otter is quite a formidable predator. This animal possesses such agility as if it can transition from a solid to a liquid state on its own. Yet, one should not underestimate the strength and sharpness of its teeth. An otter can handle the shell of a small crab, making it relatively easy for it to reach a bird's throat. This otter attacked a bird 3 times its size. The duck is in shock, as a waterfowl being attempted to drown. The otter persists. It has subdued its prey, almost triumphing. However, as the little predator dragged the catch to the shore, it turned out that it had underestimated the duck. The clever bird realized it was inferior in strength and decided to outsmart its adversary. It feigned defeat, only to escape the grip at the last moment and disappear. A relatively large eagle landed near a chicken to feast on chicks. This sizable predator hunts rats, rabbits, and ducks. Thinking it could easily drive away the hen and enjoy a snack before a proper hunt, the eagle was really in for a surprise. The chicken instantly attacked the aggressor. The eagle was shocked. The chicken chased it down like a wolf chasing jackals. Chicken wings aren't suitable for extended flight, but they provide excellent acceleration. Pecking at the eagle's head, eyes, and other vulnerable points, the chicken showcased not only remarkable bravery but an unexpected force. Such courage dedicated to protecting offspring is worthy of your like, isn't it? Chickens were domesticated in Southeast Asia around 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. Over time, people got used to perceiving them as the most ordinary, harmless domestic birds. However, witnessing what this small feathered berserker is capable of creates the impression that ancient humans domesticated chickens not for eggs or meat, but for the birds to defend themselves against saber-toothed tigers. In extreme situations, it turns out that these birds inherited the rage and strength of distant ancestors. The predatory dinosaurs. Don't believe it? How about this battle of the century? Since eagles, unlike miniature falcons, are heavyweights bird-wise, defeating them proved pretty challenging. The eagle was not opposed to a prolonged confrontation. Several times it soared up only to repeat the attack. And guess what? Every time the chicken willingly entered the fray, showing no signs of fatigue. When the chicken deployed its claws, the eagle regretted tangling with its adversary. One-on-one, a chicken can literally trample an eagle of the same size, or drive away even a larger one. The predatory bird either had to go into deep defense, lying on the ground, spreading its wings and extending its clawed legs forward, or just retreat. Otherwise, the situation could turn into a real disaster for these noble rulers of the feathered realm. The chicken could literally corner the eagle. It seems like the bird is taunting the opponent, which nervously opens its beak. The eagle stumbled upon the wrong adversary, and a seemingly easy hunt turned into the most dangerous and humiliating episode of its life. Imagine this scene with some gangster movie dialogue. You stepped into the wrong neighborhood. What are your thoughts? We're waiting for you in the comments. Size matters in a fight between animals. Take an elephant, for example. It can bury a buffalo up to its neck, scatter an entire lion pride, and knock down a 4-ton rhino like a wet rag. Yet, determination and bravery sometimes surpass size. The elephant could snap the spine of this crane as easily as you would a thin twig. However, the most massive terrestrial mammal yielded to the resolution of this bird. The elephant seems bewildered, not comprehending what is happening, but it turns out it merely approached the bird's nesting site too closely. Perhaps you've wondered why some birds build nests not on treetops, but directly on the ground. Because they are so cool that they can even drive away an elephant if necessary. Actually, domestic cats freely roaming outside are considered super predators. Don't believe it? The key is that for each attempt to catch prey, they have more instances of successful hunting than wild lions. It makes you look at your house cat with different eyes, doesn't it? So, it's not surprising that among urban fauna, cats consider themselves the coolest. However, the crow disagrees. Apparently, it fancied itself the sheriff, and when two cats got into a fight, the bird decided to stop the chaos in the most old-fashioned way possible, by intervening and forcing both opponents to disperse. One crow attacked two cats right in the midst of their skirmish, even though the fluffy fighters had an obvious advantage on the ground. But they picked the wrong feathery opponent. The crow's sturdy beak and excellent reflexes cooled down the cats, prompting them to seek another place for their dispute. Warning, if you have claustrophobia, this epic incident might trigger real panic. The main advantage of birds is the maneuverability granted by their wings. But what to do when the enemy invades a tight nest? With a chick behind her, the only answer for this hawk is to fight. The snake fully realizes its advantage. In this narrow passage, it can force a close quarter combat. The reptile is large enough to swallow even an adult bird. The owl tries to spread its wings and puff up its feathers to appear larger and deter the predator. However, the determined snake is too hungry. The scared chick behind the owl looks too appetizing to the cold-blooded reptile. But the snake underestimated the power with which the bird would fight for its offspring. The battle was incredibly intense. The snake lunged at its opponent, managing to sink its fangs into the owl and then entwine it with its coils to constrict, suffocate, and finally defeat the owl, attacking the defenseless chick afterwards. But the snake miscalculated the striking location. If it had bitten the owl's legs, it could have injected its venom easily. However, the reptile aimed for a denser part of the body, as it was an easier target. And this was a big mistake. The snake didn't know that owls are actually slender birds, and a significant portion of the body volume is dense plumage. The snake's fangs got entangled in it. The chick's distressed squeak behind the owl increased the owl's strength tenfold. It managed to shake off the powerful snake, transitioning to a determined counterattack. The sharp, sickle-shaped talons knew their job well, even though wielding such weapons in tight spaces was quite challenging. But the stubborn desire to protect the lone chick did its job. The owl successfully dealt with the snake, saving its family. Look at her in shock after the duel. Someone get that stressed owl some water. No wonder the bald eagle is one of America's symbols. Even among other birds of prey, this beauty truly has a steely character. It's hard to find another bird that loves to fight as much as these predators right here. When you watch them, it feels like you're witnessing a Western movie. Here's a group quietly having lunch in a saloon when suddenly a troublemaker appears and a fight breaks out of nowhere. However, the aggressor underestimated its opponent. It thought that it was the baddest eagle around. A big mistake. Its unexpected strike was not only noticed, but also successfully countered. This duel looks impressive. Instead of simply dodging the dangerous blow, the attacked eagle extended its talons right toward the opponent. Did the eagle know how it would end? Probably, and Dib was just happy about it. The inertia literally knocked the eagle off its feet, and both birds flew off to continue their brawl. They fought fiercely with their claws, and the bird that initiated the fight clearly didn't expect to face such a tough opponent. The attacked eagle decided to show that messing around with it is not a good idea. It skillfully used the opponent's fall and counterattacked it from above. With all its weight, the eagle crashed into the aggressor and threw it into the icy water. The powerful talons pierced the back of the insolent eagle. At that moment, it surely regretted trying to snatch the prey away from our hero. The depth here was too shallow for the eagles to be in real danger. Still, getting wet in cold weather is a very unpleasant prospect. More to it, eagle wings and especially the flight feathers are vulnerable to water. If they get wet, the bird can't take off until they dry. Well, it learned its life lesson. Don't mess without reason with someone armed with a whole set of curved talons. It can reach speeds of more than 70 miles per hour, more than 110 kilometers per hour, at least for a short distance. But this is a consequence of a rather narrow hunting specialization. The cheetah most often hunts fast and maneuverable impalas and gazelles. He is strong enough to defeat wildebeest or zebra, but fighting with other large predators is a very, very bad idea for him. He has no chance against a lion, so it's also better not to mess with a hyena and a leopard. The anatomy of a light and lean cheetah is designed for a lightning-fast short chase, a quick strike, and the completion of the hunt. Massive rivals are not for him, especially a giant snake that relies on brute force. Therefore, if a cheetah meets a python, it will try to simply bypass the threat. He will not be able to defeat an adult snake. As for venomous snakes, the incredible speed of running does not mean that the cheetah's reaction speed is better than that of a flash or mercury. He can dodge the cobra's throw, but why risk it if there are plenty of appetizing and mostly defenseless impalas around? In general, although mongooses and honey badgers have a reputation for snake hunters, cats practically do not lag behind their colleagues and are often the first to attack snakes. They are just universal hunters, so the fame of snake fighters has passed them by. It's a pity. Even small cats can fight back against a huge cobra. The secret of success is courage. The venomous snake has one weapon for that ultimatum. Therefore, the only chance to survive is to go straight towards danger. Therefore, cats in a fight with poisonous snakes do not attack the tail and not the trunk, but aim directly at the head. Thus, the brave animal tries to knock down the attacking brush of the enemy. If the claws hit the snake's forehead, it cannot physically reach the paws with its teeth. This tactic does not always work. In addition, small cats are vulnerable to snakes, which prefer strangulation to poison. This rather famous scene of the cat mom's confrontation with a huge python ended with the rescue of the kids because they were carrying people nearby who did not care about the balance in the world of wildlife. The cat fought bravely and threw the snake off the slope several times, but a little more, and the python would have eaten the kittens. To prevent this, people intervened at the last moment and literally pulled the snake by the tail out of the cat's lair. Would you have done the same? Or would you have taken the position of biologists who prefer the role of outside observers? Let us know in the comments. But where small cats give up, panthers and other large relatives, on the contrary, overcome snakes. The largest representative of this family is the tiger. Its mass often exceeds 1/4 of a ton. In addition to pure physical strength, he has amazing fighting skills. It seems that during hunting, the tiger uses some kind of martial arts that allow him to throw a buffalo weighing up to a ton over his shoulder, break the boar's neck with one blow, or overwhelm a deer before the ungulate realizes what happened at all. Nevertheless, the snake is a worthy opponent even for such a tough fighter. This is a very rare, still black and white video of such a duel of giants. We must give the tiger his due. His straightforward attack seems to have discouraged the python. Instead of cunning tactics, the striped beast decides to rely on something that has never failed him: crushing force. But the python, especially such a huge one, is not a pack of chips that you can just take away from the supermarket shelf to have a snack in the evening. The snake avoided the fight with all its might. She has repeatedly given warning signals to the tiger that she does not want a fight. But the striped one simply ignored the reptile and bit into its side. Then the python was forced to resort to its incredible strength. The tiger responded with fangs. The cat's jaws closed several times around the python's head and neck. To the tiger's surprise, this was not enough to end the fight in his favor. The python bit into the tiger from the side, then wrapped its rings right around him. The tiger's strength is incredible. Even with such a burden, he managed to jump high several times. But he never managed to slip out of the snake's grasp. Well, the python can honestly admit that it was just honest self-defense. As a result, the tiger was never able to get free. Surely during the last stage of this giant fight, he regretted that he decided to contact a snake 3 times his body length. After all, this python is a good 26 feet, 8 meters, of tight muscles. And to save its own life, the snake used every one of them. The tiger could not escape. The python realized that it was overpowering its enemy and did not let it go. He tightened his grip harder, then even harder, and the tiger just couldn't take a breath. The snake's muscles around his torso were so tightly tightened that the tiger could not physically straighten his chest to let air into his lungs. And then the python tightened its embrace even more to inflict critical damage to the internal organs of the striped hunter, who has now become prey. There is also a relatively new video in which a tiger and a python appear to us as such heroes of a western. 2 fighters met on a narrow path. They stopped to assess each other. Who was gonna shoot first? Nobody. The tiger just retreats. And the python doesn't want to mess with this guy either. Hunting is a dangerous business, but it's better to rush at bulls than to try to overcome a huge snake. Smart move for a tiger, don't you think? Although the jaguar is the only panther of the New World, it is far from the only wild cat that lives on the American continent. A worthy competitor to her is the cougar. Although it often exceeds leopards in size, the cougar is not a panther and belongs to small cats. This scientific classification is related to the structure of the skull and vocal cords. For all its size and strength, a cougar cannot growl like a lion or a tiger, but it will be able to give the snakes the same decent fight as the jaguar, huh? It turns out that everything depends on the snake. The fact is that the rattlesnake, which lives mainly in North America, is probably the fastest snake in the world. That is, if you only take into account the speed of the throw. This reptile bites almost as fast as a bullet flies into its target. Dodging the lunge is almost impossible for anyone except exceptionally agile animals. Once upon a time, Indian mongooses were even brought to America so that these animals would help farmers exterminate snakes that bite cattle. But the animal, which dealt with cobras at home without any problems, turned out to be powerless against the rattlesnake. The snake was simply too fast for it. So, in a rattlesnake and cougar duel, it's better to bet on the reptile. Your chances are way higher. Rattlesnake venom has a pronounced hemotoxic effect. This means that it destroys the structure of the blood and poisons the heart along with the entire circulatory system. Even a minuscule amount of poison when it gets into the blood can deal with a cougar in a couple of minutes. Fortunately, there is a mysterious balance in nature, and the more terrible the poison, the more difficult it is for the snake's body to produce it. Therefore, the rattlesnake does not bite everyone that it can reach. Although this snake is not afraid of a fight, it tries to avoid it to the last minute. That's why it needs a rattle, a specific skin structure at the tip of the tail. The masking coloration, which makes it easy to sneak up on a prey, makes the reptile almost invisible even to a cougar. And so that the cat does not accidentally step on such a creature, the snake deliberately betrays itself, begins to rattle the tip of its tail while taking a protective stance. That is, the snake twists the body like a big spring. The rattlesnake is ready to shoot his head at the target for a fatal bite at any moment, but deliberately delays the blow to give a random opponent time to escape. And only if the warning of the rattlesnake is ignored, and moreover, if they try to attack the snake, it attacks almost always for sure. And this cougar acted very wisely. It decided to be careful when it encountered a huge python in the expanses of humid Florida. In fact, in this case, the mountain lion will attack the snake in the head in order to quickly break its neck and not allow itself to be bitten. However, during the attack, the python may have time to twist and dig into the cat and then wrap its body around it. So this tactic is not a guaranteed success at all. Why does this cougar seem to taste the python and try to bite it in the middle of the body? The answer is simple. It's the first time it's ever seen such a big snake and genuinely does not know how to react to it. Fortunately, the python is not in the mood for a fight either. Instead of counterattacking, it quickly removes the torso from the puma's teeth. The cat was smart enough to understand that it was better not to mess with such a terrible creature and go look for easier prey. So this time, both opponents remained alive and did not even receive any damage. What do the masters of Oriental martial arts say there? The best fight is the one that did not happen. You can give this cougar a black belt.